I guess I owe you guys an explanation. Well, the simple answer is I almost lied about the whole thing. Just change it to Julie had a family emergency and had to go back to China or something. I just didn't want to think about it hard enough to type out those words. And then look at them in front of me. And like I said, I do keep up with your comments and know there's no Julie ghost, no clever resurrection, no red herrings, no time travel, no Julie from a parallel universe to take her place. Murders don't always result in ghosts either. But even if that were the case, apparently there's a convenient workaround in the paranormal world that if you have someone killed by an animal or some beast of lower intelligence, I guess the universe scans that as a natural death. So, no ghost. And that's that. I just didn't want to get anyone's hopes up. Well, back to the story, I guess. You need a lot of stitches, but the nurse was just in and said that the broken ribs are probably going to bother you a lot more. Oh, and he said your eyelid got scratched a little, but there should be only some irritation to the area, so you won't have to wear an eye patch or anything. Holly explained that she noticed me wake up and groan, my shifting agitating my ribs. I didn't respond. Instead, I just stared at the wall across from the hospital bed. They said they want to keep you a little while longer, but they'll probably let you go home this evening. Fuck off, I told her plainly, turned my head to face the wall opposite her. I don't ever want to see your big stupid nose or the ridiculous dimple on your chin, or hear your ugly deep voice ever again, I said, not actually caring about any of it, but knowing she'd told me before that she was extremely self-conscious about all that stuff. I brought you some of your clothes from home. The ones you came in were covered in. They're messed up. Adeline sent some Cerber company shirts to the apartment, and they feel really nice, so I thought... they're really baggy, like you. They're in the wardrobe over there. Your bike's back at the apartment, she said before she walked out in silence. About a minute later, I heard the chair being slid across the floor over to my bed. I thought I told you to I started, but when I turned, I saw a hand sitting, leaned over towards me with his elbows on his knees, doing something on his phone. As he tapped the screen, he spoke, but this time all the soft kindness in his voice I'd gotten used to was gone. You know what happened, and you're going to tell me what happened, he said, flipping the phone around to show me a still image of the apartment security footage. You're going to tell me what this thing is that killed my sister, or I'll shove me up my own ass. Or I'll beat you to death right here and now, he answered bluntly before standing, closing the door and jamming it shut with the chair. I still might kill you anyway. Difference is it will be quick. Given the alternative, I told him the entire situation. And once I was done, he didn't ask any questions or say anything at all. He just turned and opened the door to walk out. Well, what are you going to do now? I asked before he could leave. He stopped, thinking for a second before answering. I must do research. And then he was gone. After they wheeled me out of the hospital later that day, I had to get an Uber to make it home. Yeah, just a plain old Uber. The guy tried to ask what put me in this mummy getup, but I didn't feel like talking for obvious reasons. Unceremoniously walking through my door, I eased myself down on the couch, doing nothing but looking at myself in the blank screen of the TV as I unwrapped the bandages on my face to see the 4 long, stitched-up gashes that run across my face, trying to ignore the dull pain in my side. That only lasted for a few minutes until I happened to glance over at my bike and noticed the blood speckled across the wheel. Okay, yeah, no, I mumbled as I struggled to lift myself off the couch. I started to walk back out the door with no motivation other than walking until my legs gave out and getting as far away from that place as I could. What now? I swear to God if that's Holly. Count? I said to myself in surprise as I snatched the door open ready to sling a wrench in Holly's face. I'm sorry, Mr. Count. I mean, Count. Sir, I didn't mean to. It's quite all right, my child. I understand. He reassured me, placing a hand on my shoulder. Do I need to invite you in or something? No, but it would be very impolite for me to come in without permission. Oh, well. Come in then. Have a seat, I guess. Actually, I think I will stand. As it so happens, I'm here to retrieve you. Retrieve me? Where are we going? How are we getting there? 'Cause I got a lot of grieving and wallowing in self-pity to do, and I'm already way behind. There will be time for that later, my child. Now please, step forward, he said as he held out an arm towards me. As I stepped, he grabbed my wrist and pulled me forward. About the time I felt the tug on my arm, the world faded into a swirling mist of cold and darkness. I could feel the ground dissolve beneath my feet as my body became weightless. And all at once, it stopped, and I was standing in the middle of a brightly lit room. Oh God, I think I'm gonna throw up, I groaned as I bent down and grabbed my niece. Wait, I think I've been here before, I mumbled to myself whilst I looked down at the ornate carpet. We heard about your unfortunate goings-on, old fellow. I sounded like... Oh, hello again, Dr. Jekyll. Wait, who's we? I asked, looking up to see him walking towards me. Good Christ, man, your face. That looks just... horrible. Thanks for helping out, Count. Everyone's in your lounge waiting, he said to him as he passed, gesturing for us to follow. We just need to let the captain know that you're on your way. He added as he turned around and looked at my face one more time. And now I'm the guy with the fucked up face. Outstanding. Oi, Hook! Boys here! Jekyll shouted, rapping on the cracked door. And here's these, he added, dropping a couple of silver coins into the captain's hand as he answered. Thank you, Doctor. But do try and show a little reverence, please. Today is a solemn occasion for us all, need I remind you? The captain responded. Yeah, I know, but people are waiting, Jekyll said back impatiently, pointing down the hallway. All right, settle down. Hello, Jose, the captain said to me as he opened the door the rest of the way, revealing his metal arm that was held up in a sling that he wore over one of those old red naval jackets. What, happened to your, thing there? I asked. Oh, don't trouble yourself about it, boy. Having this much silver hanging from your shoulder can get heavy, both figuratively and quite literally. He explained, slipping the sling off and placing it on the dresser before leaving the room. Then me and Dr. Jekyll followed the captain to the room at the end of the hall. As he opened the door, the soft chatter from inside went quiet as they turned to face us. Relic? Relic, what are you doing here? I asked when I saw that flickering specter in the corner of the room. They told me what happened and I should come today. That you could use a friend right now. They? He answered by pointing the flickering finger over at the Count and Captain who were standing next to each other. Oh yeah, that makes sense because it doesn't make sense and nothing to do with those two ever does, I said under my breath. You've already met with the chaps from Dirty Work Inc? Dr. Jekyll said, gesturing over towards the three extraordinarily shady-looking guys on the other side of the room. They all had the same baggy sweater in different colors. A red, a blue, and a green one. And they all had those old, what do you call them? Derby hats. The ones with the round tops. I don't think I started what the Count explained. They're the ones who procure the human meat I require, as well as for many other supernatural beings in the area who require such things. Oh, the sketchy door in the alley, I thought out loud. We take care of the stuff that leaves a bad taste in everyone else's mouths. Need fresh human meat? We got you covered. Need a body tossed in a wood chipper? We got that too. Got a cranky deity that requires an unsavory sacrifice to quell? We can help you out. I asked when I heard the one in the red sweater talk. Maybe. We go where the business is. Yeah. The other two repeated before the captain spoke up. It's time, everyone. Time to begin. Everyone gather close. Count, if you would be so kind. He was interrupted by a racket from outside. Hey lady, piss off, you're not allowed it. One of the guards started to say on the other side of the front door before we heard something crash through and into the main hall. Jose, where are you? I know you're here. Oh dear God, can this please not be happening right now? I groaned when I recognized the voice. One of the guards from outside snatched the door to the lounge open and shouted at us. Captain, it's that woman from the... Whoa! He screamed as he was snatched away and thrown down the hall. There you are, yelled Holly at me as she poked her head around the corner. I thought I told you to leave me alone. How do you even find me? Incognito tracking app on your phone, she said, holding up her phone and showing me the little blip on her screen. I knew something was up when you blinked from your apartment right down the street. What even is this Oh, shit. She trailed off when she realized who she was in the room with. She tried to turn and run, but the captain already grabbed a handful of her hair and drug her back into the room.
Too late for that!
He roared as he slammed her against the wall, his silver hand now tightening like a vice around her throat, the long talons causing thin streams of blood to run down her neck as they began to puncture her skin.
I'm afraid this is the end for you, lass. I was hoping you'd be of some use before this was all over. But given the circumstances,
he explained before tightening his hold even more. Her face reddened as her eyes started to roll back into her head, her arms fighting to find a way to free herself before she lost consciousness. Then the captain let go of her throat, grabbing her head and smashing it into the brick wall, causing Holly to scream in agony.
Whoa, Captain, hold up a second,
I said, walking up next to him in an effort to make him stop.
Stand back, boy. I attended a Gallagher show many years ago. I feel like this might end up the same way,
he cautioned, bearing down even harder.
I said hold on a goddamn second! If you want to drag me into this shit, you're gonna respect me when I fucking have something to say!
And then the screaming and struggling stopped. The room went dead silent as he peered down at me over his shoulder. Did you just get taller? I mumbled, slightly terrified.
All right, boy. Speak your mind,
he instructed. First, you gotta put her down. I pointed at Holly, who was still being held about a foot or so off the ground against the captain's hand in the wall. He released his grip and let her crumble to the floor at his feet, making a point to stand between her and the exit.
Speak,
he told me again. All right, look. Just hear me out. Maybe she can still help. Might not be the way you intended, but maybe you don't crack her skull open like an egg just yet. I tried to bargain. Just give me 1 second to talk to her. So, you did know him this whole time. You were just trying to get information from me to give it to him, she said in a disappointed tone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Pot. Is my kettle too black for you? You got a problem with that, you can go ahead and eat my entire ass.
Now I'm sticking my neck out for you and trying to keep that guy from smashing your head like a watermelon. So you better give me something, because you damn sure aren't muscling your way out of this shit. I can take you to him. I know where he stays when he's on the West Coast, she offered. I heard the captain's boots click against the floor as he walked past me. Then he knelt down in front of her and spoke.
You can tell me where he is. You personally know.
Mm-hmm. Just don't kill me after I tell you.
I make no such promises, but your chances are significantly better if you do than if you don't, he told her. But the time for that will come later. We still have business to attend to. You,
he said, pointing down at Holly as he stood.
Unfortunately, we cannot leave you unsupervised at the Count's home. You will have to accompany us, but you will remain out of sight and out of mind. Am I understood?
Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
He barked down her ear. Yes, sir.
I suppose that will do. You, boy. Over here with everyone else near the Count,
he said, pointing to where everyone was gathering.
You as well,
he added, pointing to Holly. Once everyone was standing shoulder to shoulder and around the Count, I felt the same sickening feeling of having the ground stretch out from underneath me as we were all surrounded by the shadowy mist. Before I knew it, I was laying on my back looking up at the starry night sky. It wouldn't have been all that bad if I wasn't taking everything I had to keep from fountain puking onto my own face. I rolled my head over on its side to see that everyone else except for the Count and the captain were all on the ground in various positions trying to collect themselves the same as I was. Take your time, everyone. Don't get up too fast, a voice said from behind me. It was a native-looking woman, drop-dead gorgeous too, with some kind of tattoo on the brim of her nose. I remember the first time that James was brought back here like that. He complained about it forever, she teased, looking over at him.
Come here, boy. I would like you to meet my wife,
the captain said, taking me by the shoulder and walked me over to where she stood.
Hey, is this a boat? I mean, nice to meet you.
I'm Jose. It's a long story. I introduced myself, shaking her hand. Then she introduced herself and said a name I can't spell, say, or remember. I guess when she saw the smoke coming from out of my ears, trying to figure out how to pronounce it, she took some pity on me. You may call me Tiger Lily if you like, she offered with a soft smile. Oh, thank God. I didn't want you to hear what I would have done to your name, lady. I sighed in relief.
There were syllables in there that I only ever use when I hiccup. James was right. You're a very funny man. And it's okay. It took him almost 5 years to be able to say it right, she said as she wiped a tear out of the corner of her eye from laughing. Then she wrapped her arms around me and gave me a tight hug. I'm so sorry about what happened. And I'm sorry for James. He's a good man, just his zeal gets the best of him sometimes and he gets carried away. She spoke into my ear. Oh, yeah, I kinda noticed that. Hey, is this a boat? She laughed again. Oh, James, can we keep him? He's precious.
It's a ship, boy. My ship, the captain explained. Which reminds me, Mr. Smee, if you would be so kind.
Aye, Captain, said Smee, who I hadn't noticed had been standing just out of sight. He then blew a loud ship whistle and started stomping something violent with both feet. All hands on deck! All hands on deck! He shouted down on the wooden planks as he jumped up and down. All hands on deck! Hey, where exactly are we? I asked the captain.
A small island a few miles off New England shore.
Wait. Oh my god. Is this Neville?
Ah, here they are.
He interrupted as people started walking up the steps and climbing down from ropes hanging on the rigging overhead. It was the people from the woods. I recognized some, and the others I recognized the scared faces that mine probably matched now. Once everyone had seemed to have shown up and gathered around, some shaking my hand or patting me on the back as they passed. The captain spoke to the crew as he pulled out 2 silver coins from his pocket, looking down at them in his palm as he spoke.
This never gets any easier. We lost a man the other day. A good man. His crossing ended in a dark alley trying to warn us that the croc had come, he said, looking around as he held up the first coin, showing it to the crowd. Toothless, you will be missed. You will be remembered, he added, placing the coin onto the top of the metal of his arm, where it started to melt and fuse with the existing silver. Now this one, he continued, holding up the second coin and looking me in the eye. She died not knowing of us or our cause, but she died one of us all the same, and for that I bear the burden of her death as well. Then he took the coin and began to place it in with the others. Wait, hold on, Tiger Lily said as she stopped his hand. Give it here, she told him before walking over to me. I can see in your eyes. Do you want hers? She asked me. I nodded, not knowing what she was planning, but then she took my arm and placed the coin against the skin near my wrist, where I started to feel a hot, stinging sensation. Once she pulled her hand away, I could see the lines of what would have been the print on the coin, almost like a tattoo. But it would glimmer like silver when the light hit it just right. Thank you, I said, hugging her back as my eyes started to water. I looked over my shoulder to catch Harley rolling her eyes in disgust, and just in time to see the captain notice. So he snatched her up by her collar, and in one clean motion threw her overboard. I couldn't help but grin as I heard the cracking splash of what had to be one hell of a back or belly flop. After the ceremony, we spent the rest of the evening eating food I was assured the Dirty Work Inc. guys had no part of. The crew sang old songs and sea shanties, and I took a great deal of pleasure in watching several of the men flirt endlessly with a visibly damp Holly as she shivered under her towel. It's nice to get out for a change, Relic said as he joined me in leaning against one of the masts, watching the captain dance with his wife, while a few of the crew threw knives and hatchets at a stump off to the side. He didn't say anything else after that. I think he just wanted to make sure that he was still there with me. That was until a while had passed and they saw me glance over at Holly. I don't trust her, he said as plainly as he could in that staticky voice of his. But you seem to like her, so just be careful, he added before walking back out onto the deck. Yo, I didn't say I liked her. I did not. I stopped, almost running into the Dirty Work Inc. guy with the red sweater. Mark, he said before pushing me out of the way and moving on. After a while, the Count started to look around the deck, rounding up everyone that came here together before he made it over to me. The time has come to depart, my child. Are you prepared? He asked. No, not really, but I guess I do need some rest, I admitted. I'll be joining you later, my boy. The Count has said you are free to reside in his manor if you don't feel safe at your own home, the captain explained as he joined the group. But in the event that you would rather sleep in your own bed, he continued, reaching into his coat pocket, take this, he said, handing me a medium-sized knife. What's this all about? I said, taking it from his hand. That's an orichalcum-infused blade. It's the only metal that can injure absolutely any being, entity, creature, or god. But for your own sake, be careful with it. Any wound by this metal is permanent. It can never be closed or healed. Oh, and strictly speaking, I'm not supposed to have that, so do be quiet about it. And we have some conspiring needs doing when I return.
Take this and put it on your face when you get home, Tiger Lily said, handing me a small jar. It will help you heal much faster. There will be scars, but it will heal in only a few days.
Hey, why is your English so much more normal than the captain's? I thanked her.
After another fit of laughter, she answered, I watch a lot more movies than he does. It gets pretty boring not being able to leave this island.
You watch a lot of movies?
I asked as Relic perked up too.
You mind if me and DirecTV and a Storm over here come and watch some movies with you sometime?
I added, pointing over to Relic, who flipped me a jittery bird. That would be very nice.
She answered happily, apparently excited to be invited into mine and Relic's movie gang.
All right, anybody departing with me, come close,
the Count said, holding his arms out. Oh hell, here it comes. I groaned as the ground evaporated out from under me for the third time. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold it back this time.
Which one of you did it?
The vomit-covered Count shouted as we all rolled around on the floor from the nausea.
This is the most disgusting thing I have ever...
Go, 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 go. I whisper over and over, pushing Harley towards the front door as he tried in vain to clean himself with a silk handkerchief.
What are you shouting about? One of the guards asked.
He's gonna probably need the both of you in there. It was a lot, I answered.
What was a lot?
The other one asked after the first one went running.
Oh my god, there's so much!
The first one screamed from inside the manor, causing the second one to follow him in. After that, me and Holly walked together down the end of the driveway where her car was waiting. I turned and headed in the opposite direction back to my apartment, but was stopped by what she said.
I quit.
What? I asked, turning around. You what?
I quit my job. Today after I left the hospital, it was the first thing I did. What happened was too much. I didn't actually want anyone to die. I even started to get a bad feeling, so I tried to scare her off, just in case. But then that big guy...
She trailed off. I walked back up to her next to the car, not entirely sure what to say. So I settled for... I didn't mean all that stuff I said at the hospital. I mean, you're a pain in the ass and selfish and lazy and mean-spirited and just a generally awful person. But I guess I believe you. I told her as I leaned forward and she closed her eyes and leaned in too. What? No, that I didn't... The painkillers just wore off. That wasn't a kiss, I'm just in too much pain to stand up straight anymore. Oh, Jesus, shit, I'm so sorry. That's embarrassing. We both stood in awkward silence under the streetlight for a while before I worked up the courage to ask. So, can I get a ride? A few minutes later, we were in front of the apartment watching Han Lao pace back and forth in the courtyard, poring through an old book, occasionally checking something on his phone as he did.
What do you think he's looking for?
Harley asked. Not sure, but judging from the look in his eyes, he's gonna find it. You think we should tell him something to help? I asked back.
Maybe leave that dirty work ink card they gave you on the ship somewhere he'll find it. That should send him in the right direction. They have their hands in so much shady shit, there's not much they don't know a little about. And it's best to maybe give him some space.
Okay, I guess I'll do that then. I'll figure out where to slip it tomorrow after I have a painkiller or two in me. I said, opening the door to the...
Where the actual fuck have you been? Rissa, what the hell? You just scared me so bad my toes went... Oh god. Oh god, my ribs. Harley, painkillers on the table over there. I can't explain all this to her like this.
Once my ribs stopped playing patty cake with my insides, I told Rissa what happened and where I was. She then explained that she wasn't around for the past couple of days because it takes her a lot more energy and concentration for her to move physical objects. So when she tackled that croc thing, it shut her down and put her into recovery mode for a while. That was the first I was hearing of it.
She's not staying here, is she? Rissa yelled.
Look, Rissa, I don't really care right now where she stays. I'm just tired. And with that, I went up to bed and laid there for all but 30 minutes before I was positive that no sleep would be had that night, between Rissa's head popping up through the door to glare at me, her eye just barely visible over the floor, to hearing Holly fail at walking quietly up the stairs, only to stand in front of my door for a few seconds, change her mind, and run back down the stairs again.
That's it, I'm going for a ride. You two are... I'm going for a ride!
I bellowed across the apartment. As I grabbed my bike, I stopped for a second, picking up the knife that the captain gave me earlier and looking at it closely in the light. Who's Ash Kravenach? I said to myself, noticing the name etched into the corner of the sheath, before I clipped it inside my waistband just in case and walked outside. Might as well turn my beacon on and get delivery in or two, I thought to myself, and after riding around aimlessly for a while, bing! Oh no, why them? I said, looking to see that my pickup was from, you guessed it, a Dirty Work Inc. place. Why'd you do the arms through the door thing still?
I know what you look like. We were just talking an hour ago. You gave me your business card, I shouted in the middle of the alley, kicking at the rusted metal door.
Jesus, those guys. I thought out loud as I saw my drop-off was that nightmare place with the weird don't look up instructions. I was lucky enough not to have to go back there all that often, but every time was just as hard as the last. I almost started to cry a little right then. Just being a rough day, you know? But I knew there was a chance I'd get a shit gig if I went active, so... I made it to the ominous structure, hopped off my bike, and began the usual process for the delivery. Walked up, kept the container shut, kept my head down. The door opened, and then the sensation hit me. And this time I just couldn't take it. My nerves got to me and my legs gave out. I started to weep hysterically.
I can't take this anymore. I can't take the lies. I can't take the monsters. I can't take my girlfriend getting eaten in front of me. I can't take this whole stupid thing. And what the fuck is that smell? I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home.
I wailed, curling up into a ball under the immense pressure of the entity standing, looming over me. Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Are you alright? Should I call someone?
God, look, kid, I'm sorry. Can you stop the crying, please? A voice all too familiar to me spoke as the crushing aura vanished, and, against my better judgment, I sniffed as I slowly turned to look up at... No.
Are you Tom Cruise?